Live from the Pathway Studios in Johnston proper. You are live from the path.
And you're listening to Live from the Path, maybe. What do you mean, maybe? You could be. You definitely are. If they weren't listening, they wouldn't know I just said that.
True. Good point.
It's just something to think about.
It does imply they're listening.
Yeah, no doubt.
This type of compound thought I'm not used to, you know?
Hey, man, it should be a real winning of show here. First of all, it's good to be back. I don't know what to do with myself when I take a week off the show. Here's what happened, right? So me and the family were in Branson. And we head down there, and there's no, shut up. It was the off season. Leave me alone. I didn't see any shows. I went to a cave, though. A cave was pretty boss. So anyway, it's the off season in Branson, and there's no Wi-Fi in this condo thing that we've rented out. And since it's the off season, no one's open. So there's like no Wi-Fi anywhere. I think the Starbucks closes at like 9. There's a Panera Bread that closes at 10. The show starts at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, everybody serves dinner at like 4 down there. You know what I'm saying? Kenny Rogers can only be at one place at one time.
Andy Williams dead. Kenny eats early. So anyway, so here's what I thought of. I took the iPad out and I set it up on the dash. And I turned the Wi-Fi on, and I just started driving,
I've done that
waiting for an open network to pop up. And sure enough, some out-of-season hotel who doesn't open until mid-February has got the Wi-Fi on and churning fierce.
Nice.
So I pull in, and I fire it up, and I watch the show creeping in a hotel parking lot in Branson on the off-season.
Yeah, like
It's
a
awesome.
surveillance man.
And I thought it was pretty cool, except for I kind of had, it was nice. I was like mid-60s, and I had the windows down, and I thought, I'm going to get jumped out here. And I thought, there's nobody in Branson. They're going to come jump me.
You can hear the two you can hear the two tennis balls squealing on your way by.
But then I thought, like, someone might actually, I might be the creeper, right? Because I'm sitting in an empty parking lot with like a screen up, kind of creeping out in this thing, and I thought somebody might reasonably drive by and come after me.
If you're allowing us to let you know whether or not you were the creeper,
I could be the creeper.
you were definitely the creeper.
Okay, good.
Okay, good. I'd feel terrible if I wasn't the creeper.
I just want to make sure I know. Hey, you're listening to Live from the Path. We broadcast at 7 o'clock on Saturdays on 99.3 KTIA, and you're listening live at livefromthepath.org here at Monday night, 10 p.m. Central Time. You're using your time wisely, and I don't say that very often because I don't know you, but I know right now you're using that time wisely. Here's what's going on this week. First of all, we're firing up the games here. We're going to do non-biblical signs of the apocalypse. I'm going to give you a story from the news, and there's parts of the Bible where it says, "Hey man, the world, there's going to be some stuff that goes down at the end of the times," but he didn't tell us everything that's going to be going down at the end of the times. And so, because there's just some things that we may not know, we're going to test it against the news of the day and say, "Hey man, do you think that's one of those signs of the apocalypse? Or, we just keep a-living and the world's just a little bit cranky?"
I feel like it is one of the signs.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't given you the example yet.
Right on.
Okay. So anyway,
That's right there is a sign.
I'll give you the news example, and chat, and you guys are in the studio. You're going to tell me, is that a sign of the apocalypse, sign of the end times, or well, we got another day to live?
Okay, so I was listening to one of the backlog of our shows here. I can't remember. It had to have been 6, 8, 9 months ago or whatever. But they had one of the non-biblical signs of the apocalypse was a guy who they tape recorded his confession, and then the detective left the room and left the tape recorder in, and the guy flushed it down the toilet, and the detective come back in, and the criminal goes, "You better tighten up on your job, homie."
I think so far my favorite one that we've done was the old lady, and I think she was in Oregon, where she would put like a mayonnaise jar in the library drop-in bin for the book box.
I don't remember that.
There's something about that.
That was in there. I promise you. That
My favorite one was the story about that donkey that like patrols an 6-8 mile square area.
Yeah.
But and this is a terrible thing to be favorite, but like he killed his owner. Like the donkey got upset and like mauled this guy. But like the background on these donkeys where they patrol like dogs a square area.
Yeah, they're like
that's
territory
funny.
security guards out in the fields,
Yeah.
I think there was another one in that same show that had to do with some kind of 53-year-old woman riding a manatee.
Oh yeah.
You guys remember that one? Where
down in Florida,
this
she
gal's
wasn't
like,
supposed to be riding.
I was
manatee.
new to the area. I had no idea this riding to the manatee was not allowed, and they ticketed her and hauled her into jail because she mounted a manatee and took a spin. So that's the kind of hilarity you can expect coming up on the non-biblical signs of the apocalypse.
And then we're rolling on with proof number 34 from the man from GodIsImaginary.com. These are 50 proofs that he says make it clear that God is imaginary. We're on proof 34. God is 33-0. 34 is examine your health insurance policy.
I've done that.
So we're going to talk.
I might just agree with him on this thing.
We're going to say if God answers medical prayers, then why do you need health insurance?
You're darn right.
So we're gonna walk through that. Also, John Boover III's got some Pope-style advice. And people are writing in, and they want to know life in the path. They say the times are tough, and I need some help, Mike.
You know we're not going to get to that, Ben.
We're going to do Dear Life in the Path, and we're going to help people out. That's what's going to go down.
I'm a fire one up just in case.
All right, that's what we got going on the show this week. Hey, if you have any questions, comments, or feedback about the show, make sure you let us know. You can send us an email at info@lifeinthepath.org. You can't have my phone number because I'm almost betting that it's not going to be positive. And I don't need your drama. All right, but I can filter the email. So
people are downers, you know.
Shoot me an email.
No one calls with like, "Hey, you guys." Well, actually, we had someone write in said, "Hey, the show's going all right," and that was actually hugely uplifting to us. We don't get a lot of affirmation either way. We kind of create our own positive buzz because people don't
like us.
generally do it for us. You know, so
We're doing great.
You know, guys, we're doing a good job. You know,
so five and everything.
It's actually nice to have someone say, "Hey, we appreciate what you're doing every once in a while." But usually, when people take the time to write in, they're hot steaming mad on the tail end of I've been screwed bender, and so they got really something to say, and it's never kind words.
Something not funny, something heresy, something.
Jesus wouldn't approve of that. Blah, blah, it's like, okay, maybe you should turn the station. Maybe the show's not for you. I'm sure Pat Robertson's still on.
Barbara Mandrell does some sort of hits.
On the mandolin.
That's not nice. All right, so I tell you what, let's get to the proof then. Proof number 34 from the man and from GodIsImaginary.com. 50 proofs. Here's number 34. Examine your health insurance policy. Here's a question, : bold. If God answers medical prayers, then why do you need health insurance? Simply think it through, Buva. He said that in the thing. He's after you specifically.
Great.
If what Jesus says about prayer in the Bible is true, and if all the stories about medical miracles in inspirational literature are true, and if your belief in God and the power of prayer is true, and if God has a plan for you, then why do you ever need to visit a doctor or go to the hospital? Why don't you simply pray for a cure whenever you get sick? The reason I ask this is because the statement that Jesus makes in Mark 11:24, this is our man's favorite statement. Yes. Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. So is what he says in John 14:14, if you ask anything in my name, I will do it. There's this statement in Psalms 41, blessed is he who has regard for the weak. The Lord delivers him in times of trouble. The Lord will protect him and preserve his life. He will bless him in the land and not surrender him to the desire of his foes. The Lord will sustain him on his sickbed, Buva, and restore him from his bed of illness. But even more remarkable is James 5:15, where the Bible says, and the prayer offered in faith will make the sick person well. The Lord will raise him up. These are powerful verses. Keep in mind that these are the words of an all-powerful, all-knowing, perfect God, and James 5:15 is completely unambiguous. If these words are true and perfect, it seems like a faithful person should have no need for health insurance. What reason would a perfect God have for making false statements in the Bible? Yet, by owning health insurance, you demonstrate to yourself that something in these verses is amiss. In addition, the fact that you have health insurance indicates that you have no faith in God's plan for you, Buva. Doesn't it? Doesn't it? I threw that second one in for effect. Let's look at it. There's an example, blah, 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 blah. If you are a believer and if you have your Bible nearby, we can look at your health care policy from another angle. Turn to Matthew 6:25-34. This is from Jesus. Therefore, I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more important than food, and the body more important than clothes? Jesus' statement is utterly clear. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow. Yet health insurance is a physical manifestation of worry. You buy health insurance because you are worried about your health tomorrow, Buva. The question to ask yourself, therefore, is simple. If you are a believer, why do you, there's not even a do, why do you need health insurance? Or, for that matter, car insurance, life insurance, or homeowner's insurance?
Yeah, tighten up on your job, homie.
Why are you worrying about your health in the future when Jesus told you specifically not to worry? And Jesus has promised to cure any illness that arises. Why do you own a health insurance policy when you're supposed to be putting your trust in the Lord who will bring health to your body? Everything the Bible says is very clear. Why are you ignoring everything that it tells you to do, John Buva III? Here's a possibility for you to consider, finally. You are completely ignoring the Bible because you, in your heart, you know that God is imaginary. What other reason is there for you as a believer to ignore God so profoundly by owning health insurance? That's the proof. Mike, initial thoughts.
You yelled at Buva. I'm ready, though. I'm ready.
Okay.
I got a couple starting off points. Here's the two things that hit me. One, when Jesus says, don't worry, He doesn't say, don't be prepared, or don't be responsible, or don't take care of things. He just says, don't freak out about it. You know, if you got a pending, let's say you have an illness, Dan can speak to this, right? Like, let's say you have something going on that's a fairly big medical condition. He doesn't say ignore completely, be a fool, do whatever you want, and hope it doesn't kill you based on your erratic behavior. You know, you trust God with it. You live the life that He gave you. If He takes care of it, He takes care of it. If He doesn't, you get to meet Him. Great. These are bonuses. That there's nothing that Jesus has said that has said, hey, back out from taking care of your responsibility of maintaining the temple that He's given you. The other thing that I thought stood out was the when He was talking about. What was He talking about? Had something to do with. Oh, no, lost it completely. Let's stick with my first one and act like that's all I said. Boova.
It was a good one, though.
So when he talks about obviously not having health insurance and praying to God for our illnesses and immediately trusting God that He's going to cure us of every illness we get to, every sickness we get.
I thought of mine,
disease.
by the way, just in case you run out of steam. Go.
Fair enough. He's insinuating that God did not give us doctors, and God did not give us the healthcare system. And if a doctor is to administer a penicillin shot, that wasn't in any way God. God had nothing to do with it, because God had nothing to do with the creation, the findings of penicillin, the hypodermic needle, the doctor, creating the hospital, making everything that went into that situation. What he's banking on is when we pray, the only way that it would show God taking care of us and curing us would be God popping up, saying, you're cured, and then it being over. It could have nothing to do with anything else going into our cure for our illnesses and sicknesses. That just kind of made me think, because it popped out of me as there's no way that the doctors have anything to do with God. So, Mike, go ahead and go on your second one.
Okay, so here's what I thought. Here's the other two things I thought. So when especially the James verse, that was he was talking to a different culture at the time, a different they didn't have modern hospitals. They didn't have as many people. You know what I'm saying? Like just the onslaught of modern medicine and the amount of people that there is to take care of. It can't be done by a country store doctor with a roaming donkey anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like we have setups to take care of that. And so when he's talking to these people, it's not like he's standing in front of the Mayo Clinic barking this advice. You know, like he's telling small towns worth of people how God takes care of His people in that time. And actually, I find most of the time, and I think Dan will attest to this, is that if not only God uses modern medicine to cure people, sometimes God uses modern medicine to show that it's Him. You know what I'm saying? Like You go to doctors and they'll say, "Look, you're in the straits. There's just nothing we can do for you. It's in a bad spot. We can't operate on it. I just don't know. I don't know what to do." And then the prayer happens, and then God steps in, and you go back, and they go, "There's nothing medically that I can say to explain this." Right. Dan?
Right. Here's a difficulty I'm having with what he had to say here. We live in a fallen world. Newsflash, every one of us are going to die someday. Okay, so I'm 95 and I have a disease and I'm supposed to pray and it's supposed to go away. That's not, Jesus never implied that. The Bible never implies that. It's very clear something's going to get me someday. Okay, I try to let people know that very clearly. I try to let my children know, guess what? Someday you're going to pray for me to get better, and I'm going to get better by going to heaven. You know, that's just how it's going to be. This body is not designed to last for eternity. My soul is designed to last for eternity. I'll one day have a glorified body. So, I think he's wanting everyone to perpetually live forever. And he's trying to imply that's what the Scripture is saying, but that's really not what the Scripture is saying.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny, actually, because science doesn't say that either.
Yeah.
I don't know what point of view he's coming from,
And what you were talking about with modern medicine, in James 5, James asks the question, is anyone among you suffering? Let him pray. Is anyone cheerful? Let him sing praise. Is anyone among you sick? Let him call for the elders of the church. Let them pray over him, anointing him with oil. That wasn't like some little bottle of oil that they just put on their forehead. That was actually their medicine. Oil was their medicine.
Yeah.
And so basically he's saying, do what you need to medically and pray.
Yeah.
Why not have both?
And that's an interesting thought too. Is like we don't think of that a lot. We
we take medicine in pills and we take medicine in drinks and stuff. But I mean,
Right.
those even when you talk about the frankincense and myrrh and stuff that was given to Jesus, like there were qualities to that made sense for a newborn child, or not a newborn child, but like a mother and a young child to use those things. They use them for washing and for cleansing, antimicrobial things. I mean, that's what they used them for. And so oftentimes we mistake that as if it's just some kind of like celebratory oil that you toss around. They were trying to treat whatever the ailment was with that process.
Take 2 aspirin.
Yeah.
Call me in the morning.
I feel like gold could fix my woes. Anybody want to?
Well, and the one thing to remember too is the healings, especially the miracles and stuff that were in the Bible, they were not always a result of someone praying for them. I mean, Jesus healed people just because he healed people.
Right.
And so, he's acting as if prayer is the fulcrum to submit your ticket to be healed at the Jesus ER.
Yeah, right. The prayer is not the God. God's still God, right? Prayer is the communication.
He'll do as he pleases.
And the relationship building. But and maybe that's the crux of this guy, right? Like he has moved prayer into the God position, like he loves that ask and you shall receive verse, and prayer's the God. If we worship prayer and we give everything to prayer and not look at who's standing on the other end, it's the God on the other end that's the big deal. The prayer is how you obtain the relationship. It's not like I say, look, I married long walks on the beach. No, I married the lady that I do the long walks on the beach with. The long walks, they're just a great benefit and a way to communicate, But like, I really don't like that, incidentally. But I think that's the thing. He's grasping the wrong end of the stick, and he's done this on every single thing that has to do with prayer. Like his God is the God that he's raging against is prayer, and not the God on the other end.
I had a really fun conversation last week. I went to see my cardiologist. I'm a fairly young guy to have a cardiologist, so even to say that still sounds kind of funny to me. And if I go into office, everybody's like, 30 years older than me, and they look at me like, oh, no wonder he must be here giving them samples or
He's
something.
He's a delivery man.
Oh, it's a salesman.
It's the candy man.
It's like, he is. So I said, no, I'm here to see the cardiologist. Oh, what are you in for? Anyway, so I go back there, and it's like the yearly checkup thing to make sure I'm still living. And he has a student that is going to graduate like in a week, and so she has no clue who I am, and she's going through all the questions. Oh, you have any pains? Blah blah. Nope. Everything's great. And she's kind of, I can tell she has that puzzled like, why is this guy here?
Yeah.
And so I said, do you know why I'm here? She goes, no, I don't. And so I kind of told her the story. Well, I had this big aneurysm. They sent me to a surgeon. I was going to die any minute. I was going to pop. It was like ready to go. And we took another test. After a lot of people prayed for me, and now it's a 0.38. It used to be 0.54, which doesn't mean anything unless you know aneurysms. And she kind of looked at me like, well, that can't happen. I said, you're right. It can't happen.
You're absolutely right.
It doesn't happen. And I said, so how do you explain that? She goes, it must have been a bad reading. I said, it could have been. Some like to think maybe God did something. I said, I don't know. I'm going with the God thing. And then the cardiologist came in and goes, yeah, really the only thing that can explain this is a miraculous happening. And I'm like, well, look at that. Isn't that kind of cool?
You don't see that in the medical chart very often.
Yeah, put that in your chart.
Miraculous happening.
Miracle.
And then she said, you didn't read my proof 34.
It's like, and I approached the whole thing, God can do what he wants with me. I'm going to live eternity in heaven. Whether I go now or in 20 years, it's all the same to me because I'm still going to live the same long length of time.
That's true. An eternal soul is eternal. Where are you spending it?
I'm eternal. So I'll try to take care of my body. I'm exercising, all that good stuff, eating better. And but I do not have an aneurysm. So it's like, why do I have a cardiologist? He's not even sure. I just keep going.
Yeah,
back.
no kidding, Dan. You should just dust your hands and be like, you know what, we're done here.
But what's kind of cool? I don't know how many people can say this. We left the appointment. He gave me a big hug and said, "I love you."
No doubt.
And I said, well, I love you too, cardiologist.
Unknown
cardiologist
man.
Cardiologist man.
And we prayed together, and it was a really kind of, I don't know how many people get to have that experience.
That's pretty awesome.
Nameless doctor. Love you too, buddy.
And I think you go to the cardiologist because there is a young lady in there who may or may not know Jesus, and you have a cool opportunity to tell a story that she now gets exposed to.
And now has to try to scientifically explain that.
Yeah. You're gonna be the crux of her life, Dan. She'll
Take
be working
that
on
back
it for
to your
50
professor.
years.
Hey, did you notice that her reaction though is it like if you if you given the option to see either God rules or people suck, she went with the people suck. It had to be a bad reading.
Well, look, here's the other one. Oh,
What a crappy choice.
Like I know the medical community, right? They're not afraid of spending money on tests. If they think it's a bad reading, they'll fire up another test.
Yeah.
Well, this looks funny. Let's test it again. I don't know about that.
And I even asked him at the time, a year ago when it came back. I said, "Are you sure? Should we do this again?" He goes, "It is crystal clear." He said, there are X number 100 images of that CT scan that it is crystal clear what you have, and it's not there. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
I'll take it. I guess I better get busy with some God stuff then.
All right, Lord, not done with me. I hear you. Okay,
I'm still here. Okay,
I'm moving.
All right. Well, and it's not like it lacks legitimacy for the medical profession within the Bible. Luke was a physician.
He was.
Jesus says stuff like, "Physician, heal yourself." He said it's not the who is it? It's not the healthy who need a physician. It's the sick, right? And so it's not like he delegitimized the medical community. In fact, if there was not a legitimate medical community, being the miracle man wouldn't necessarily stand out.
Yeah, that's true.
So
people would know the difference.
It's just God, he uses that stuff for his own purpose, and he steps in and he does things when he gets the glory. And when it furthers his kingdom. And when that guy says, I got a boil on my left elbow and I really like it gone, Lord Jesus, even though I don't really believe in you, I feel like he's not glorified and his kingdom's not furthered if that boil gets taken away. So it's just not likely to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. I quit, Aristarchus. Just pray. That was a Luke. I get it. Okay. That was number 34. Next week. Proof number 35, notices Jesus myopia. Quick definition of myopia. Boova, go.
I have absolutely no idea.
Good,
to be
Mike.
100% honest.
Fingernail disease.
Dan Hudson.
That sounds like some type of illegal drug that you might take.
Okay.
I'm glad I
Next
was the
week
only
it's
one
going
who
to be a
didn't know that.
winging of a proof.
It's when you have a gobble, like a chin gobbler.
What?
Yeah.
What?
So anyway,
That can't be right.
That's not true.
Anyway, proof. Here's the opening salvo. If you think about Jesus, you realize that his biggest problem is an incredible case of myopia, chin waddle. You can see this chin waddle quite clearly as we look back at Jesus' time on earth. The obvious question that any intelligent person is forced to ask is this: if Jesus is God, then why didn't Jesus use his omniscience and omnipotence to actually do something magnificent and beautiful on earth, rather than squandering his power as he does in the Bible by not healing his waddle?
Oh, no.
That's proof 35.
Oh, no. Wow.
Take out any references to the waddle, and that's what he's getting at.
Wow.
So anyway, that's what we'll hit next week on the 50 proofs from GodIsImaginary.com. If you want to read ahead, please do so. Go to GodIsImaginary.com, and you can check out all of the various proofs that are there in their full unglory.
This guy makes my soul hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like I go between childish emotions, like, silly man, and like, how dare you do this, blah, blah, blah. And then like some days I'm like, you make me hurt the way that you miss it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like the whole gospel, you're just missing. You're missing it.
Yeah.
I hope we run into him someday. He's like, hey,
He's gonna run into you
guys.
with a Buick.
Ouch.
All right.
Show me the signs of the apocalypse.
YouTube put an advertisement on the video. It must be popular.
That's Lil Rip.
Well, that's pretty mercy, isn't it?
We got to think of something else, Ben.
I know what's going to be done. Okay, here's the deal. This is non-biblical signs of the apocalypse. I'm going to read you a brief story for the news, and you got to figure out whether this is a sign of the end times or whether we got just a little bit more time. This could be one of those things that God said is going to go down at the end of times, but I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is.
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. First one. Robert John Tate Jr., 30, is accused of ramming his parents' Port St. Lucie home with an SUV, reports T.C. Palman Stewart. Holy terror. Tate's mom told cops her son had been posting strange YouTube videos of himself in a Batman suit before the incident, according to the report. That's it. That's the entirety of the story.
Okay, now hold on. Were the videos strange because he was in the Batman suit, or he was doing strange things in the Batman suit? You know what I'm saying? Like, if he was in a Batman suit running around saying, I'm Batman, that seems legit.
Can we look up?
But if he was, like, cleaning out the cat litter box in the Batman suit, that's weird.
I was gonna say, can we look up John Tate Batman suit?
I'm gonna see if I can find it.
I think we can be the judge of whether or not it's weirdness in a Batman suit or the Batman suit is the weirdness.
Robert, I'm still looking. What are your thoughts so far? Non-biblical sign of the apocalypse?
Okay, now hold on. What happened? Like, was he in the Batman suit when he ran into the house?
Well, not in the picture from the police blotter.
I think that would have made it pretty bad if he was in the Batman suit driving an SUV through his parents' house.
And they didn't make any mention of intoxication or other type of hindrances.
They usually do. So I'm gonna assume that he was not intoxicated. He was fully he was fully lucid.
Okay, no drugs.
He rammed his parents' house with an SUV.
Possibly in a Batman suit.
Tate's mom told cops her son had been posting strange YouTube videos of himself in a Batman suit before the incident. They didn't say how close to the incident. Like, was it a couple hours or a couple weeks?
Yeah, and why is his mom checking his YouTube stream all the time?
I'd say we get time. I'd say we got time on that one.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, no drugs involved. Batman suit, running a car in your mom's place.
There's some,
That's just weird.
there are some weird people in this world, and I don't think that driving a Batman suit, driving in a Batman suit in an SUV into a home is really that big of a deal when it comes to the weirdness.
Just because it's normalized behavior doesn't mean it doesn't sign the end of the world.
I'm going to stick with...
Does it make a difference if he made his own Batman suit or he bought a professional one?
No.
I really feel like if he homemade this thing, it's in a time.
Yeah, I would agree. It takes a certain level of commitment to make your own Batman
Homemade
suit.
Batman suit, driving an SUV into your
Setting
home.
up the camera, doing weird Batman things in front of it, getting in the wheels, running in your mom's
I
place.
like that his mom subscribed to him on a YouTube. I feel like my mom wouldn't subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Yeah,
I would not be
my
interested.
mom would definitely not subscribe to my YouTube channel. I think I'm going to stick with I think we got some time, gentlemen.
Dan?
Yeah, I think it's more of a sign of poor parenting and maybe an adult child without a job than
He's 30.
yeah, he needs a
It
job.
doesn't say whether he's employed or not.
He could be a Batman.
He could be a vigilante in Port St. Lucie, Florida.
I had failed to consider that he was actually Batman. My bad.
Has anyone seen him and Batman together?
He fights crime.
We can't
That's
say.
true.
Tighten up on your job, homie. He's a crime fighter.
Better hold on to the confession tape, officer.
All right. Oh, we're going to go with...
I bet he's a blogger
he probably is a
at
blogger.
night.
Okay, here we go.
Night blogger.
Maybe he was hungry and thought he'd just wing it, or he thought he'd better start to stockpile some wings for the Super Bowl. Kenneth Thomas Amorite, 48, of Vero Beach, allegedly stuck $4.14 worth of chicken wings from the deli of a Vero Beach Publix into the front of his pants. Reports Will Greenlee of Off the Beat blog. A manager detained Amorite until a deputy arrived, who clipped his wings and sent him to the slammer.
So he stole them, or
Well,
he
I hope
bought
it-
them.
He tried to steal $4.14 worth of wings by stuffing
Okay,
them
now,
in-
okay.
Hold on. Does it say that?
Allegedly, well, it says allegedly. He's smiling in this photo. Stuck $4.14 worth of chicken
That's right.
wings from a deli into the front of his pants.
Now, hold on. Does it say he didn't pay for them? Because as soon as you bought them, you put them wherever you want.
I think
Yeah.
he's walking through the deli, stuffs them in his pants so he doesn't have to pay for them.
Yeah,
'Cause you pay at
he
the
was
end.
arrested. I have a feeling
That would be one of my qualifiers for not eating them anyway, if they've been in the pants. I don't eat things that have been in pants.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I would agree with that as well.
It can be. Let's
maybe
see.
Thomas.
America was arrested, unable to fly the coop
Tots.
after accusations in front of his pants. Accused. Affidavit didn't state whether Amorite was running around like a chicken with his head cut off, or whether anyone was crowing after the accused poultry. No. Misdemeanor charge of retail theft and trespassing. Oh, well, the trespassing seems a little unnecessary. It's a legitimate establishment.
Well, that's
they're,
not.
Now they're just being rude.
Now, hold on. Now, if you go in a place and don't use it for its regulated purpose of business, then that's trespassing. That would be like me going into, let's say, what would be a good example? The Hallmark store where they sell cards and whatever, and then I set up a poker game in the middle of the third aisle and do whatever I want. That's trespassing.
Yeah, but what? I don't know.
He's gone in there. He's not eating the food. He's stealing the food, which means he's not using the place of business for what it's designed for. That's trespassing. He's not welcome if he's going to steal. Trespassing.
All right, fine. Okay, anyway.
I say we got more time though. That's just regular
I'd
old
say
theft
more
to me.
time on that
The
one.
fact that he put it in his pants is weird, but I don't think that's any sign.
Okay,
of
let me
it.
ask you this question. Let's
He's
say
no Batman.
Let's say Buva was the guy. Like, you're running a deli, Mike, And Bubba grabs $4 worth of chicken wings and puts it down on the front of his pants. What do you say? How do you approach this man you just saw do that?
Hey, man.
Hello?
I thought I just saw you stick some chicken wings down your trousers.
I don't know where you saw that.
It was on the camera. I saw it.
I didn't see a camera.
That doesn't mean that there's not.
I don't believe you.
That has to be an awkward conversation. Sir, we're going to have to ask you to drop your pants.
Oh, here it is. Can you prove it?
Yeah, it's on the camera. You put $4.
Are you sure? Did you see the whole action of me grabbing the wings
Yes.
and putting them into my pants?
Yes, I did.
I'm going to have to see this. I don't believe you.
That's
That
no
didn't
problem.
happen.
You can talk to the officer
That
and I
didn't
as we watch it.
Yeah, that didn't
I
go
think you're
very
mistaken.
smooth.
Please leave.
There's nothing unawkward about that conversation.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
even the theft part
And you
is
can't
weird.
really say, sir, can I have my chicken wings back?
No, I'd rather not return them. No,
Yeah.
I just like my $4.
No, I feel like you break it. You bought it. You broke them.
Yeah.
Those aren't fixable.
he's obviously someone in need. Not an apocalyptic
He
event.
just needs help. All right, here we go. Boynton Beach cops say Christopher Paul Marsland was riding his bicycle while extremely drunk in darkness, reports the South Florida Sun-Sentinel. When stopped, the 41-year-old man cursed officers, threatened to kill them, and claimed to be a professional MMA cage fighter, according to the report. Here's the classic part. It hasn't happened yet. After being handcuffed, Marsland offered the cops a deal they could refuse. He offered them a bribe. Mike guesses on how much?
$100.
Troy.
$350.
Dan.
A pants full of chicken wings.
After being handcuffed, Marsland offered the cops a deal they could refuse. 50 cents to let me go, he reportedly told them.
If it's all you've got.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. 50 cent bribe to the police. What are your thoughts, Mike?
Yeah, it's not the sign of the end times. The man just got arrested on his bike being drunk. That happens.
In the darkness?
Yeah,
50 cents.
Here's the thing: especially if you're a bike rider with your legs moving and you're exercising, you don't want to carry any more than a couple bucks on you because it's going to fall out of your pants pocket. Otherwise, you're going to be forced to wear those tight shorts that really no one appreciates, even in the darkness. They can tell those are tight shorts. I'd say that's we got more
Oh,
time.
man, he got a bribery charge on that thing.
Is it legal to bribe him anything? Like, what if you say, "Look, if you let me go, I'll be nice to you"? Does that count as a bribe?
Hey, man, I got a stick of gum in my back pocket. If you let me go.
Yeah, what if there's
It's
no good
yours.
exchange? Can you emotionally bribe people? Like, do this and I won't cause you any more trouble.
I'll give you a hug.
All right, here we go. So far, not the end of the world. We just got
Nope.
some lunatics in
Yeah,
Florida.
it's just crazies.
Okay,
Yeah,
here we
yeah.
go. The gals attending this home jewelry party are truly a bunch of gems. Lake City cops said Derek Jeremy Lee, 24, donned a ski cap and, armed with a gun, entered a home and ordered the 14 women inside who were attending a home jewelry party to hand over their purses, money, and phones. One woman, who had thought it was a party gag, pushed the man's hand aside and laughed, saying, "It's only a water gun." Ha ha. The woman who had hosted the party then stood up and yelled, "Get out of my house in the name of Jesus." When the other women followed her lead and loudly chanted the name of Jesus, according to the report, it worked, and the man left. Lee later managed to get a little souvenir courtesy of the cops, his very own pair of steel bracelets. This fourth booking at the county jail. Let me ask, question here. Act of God, or a man just creeped out by 14 crows yelling Jesus in the living room?
I got to go with B on that one. 14 crows yelling Jesus
I'd
freaked
say
me
B
out.
on that one.
If
I mean,
yeah, if
I don't know his will. Maybe that is his deal. I mean, I'm not going to doubt that he wouldn't do it because I don't know. But I think that's most likely be 14 crows.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about now. Take that wing situation from earlier. If I had seen Troy and I said, "In the name of Jesus, put them wings back where you got them," I feel like you changed your ways and put them wings back. I don't know.
I have sanctified and returned them
I
to
was
the owner.
I was going to say, if I'm the kind of dude that's going to grab $4.14 worth of wings and stuff them down my pants,
Yeah.
I
Here's
don't
what
know
I
if
would
I'm
say.
the kind of guy that's going to respond to your "in the name of Jesus."
That's why I don't understand this guy, Balin.
Yeah, well, here's
I
the
think they
thing.
were just creeped out.
Well, he's a low rent criminal. Like he's robbing a ladies' jewelry
He's
party.
been booked 4
That
times.
is pretty pansy
Yeah.
moving.
Plus, I mean, I could say something cool like, "You think those wings are hot now? Change your sinning ways." Ergo.
All right.
Dear.
All right.
I would say the style of journalism might be a sign of the end with the steel bracelets and all the chicken jokes in the last one.
Yeah, it is fairly cheeseball, Ben.
I didn't write him up.
Got his own pair of steel bracelets out of the deal. It's like, oh.
Yeah, I
Good
feel
for
like
him.
You're getting all these from the same source,
Ran
though.
around like a chicken with his head cut off.
Yeah, all these come from a Florida newspaper.
So you just have you've had
Around the Port St.
no
Louis
discernment,
area.
is what you're saying.
No, I can't help what they put in here. Here we go. Last one. Bartolo Gelsomino, a 78, is accused of killing his 71-year-old wife in their Kendall home, reports the Miami Herald. The elderly man, who was apparently incensed after his wife refused to cook him a hamburger, stabbed his wife to death and then tried to cover his tracks by staging a burglary to their home. Cops also said that Gelsomino has a history of domestic violence. That's it. Cook me a hamburger, woman.
That's not a funny story.
No, it's not. It's a sign of the end times.
No. We got time. If we're basing off that, we got time.
I don't know. I'm going apocalyptic.
Really?
We're going crazy.
Guy's 78. He killed his 71-year-old wife.
How long have they been married? Doesn't say, does it?
No, it does not.
Would it change if it was 6 months?
You know, that's a confused man, right? Like, I'm too lazy to make my own hamburger. Make me a hamburger. No, I'm not going to do it. Okay, now I'm going to get up and murder. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Like,
a sign of the end times. Everything is all about me. Kind of like the days before Noah. You know, everyone did what was right in the eyes of their own selves and went crazy.
You remember the guy? We talked about this guy. A guy in Florida who gunned down his drunken roommate during a feud over how to prepare pork chops. You remember this guy? This guy got like big, bushy handlebar mustaches.
is it the same man?
No, it's a different guy.
I was going to say, if it's the same dude, I'd change it.
He sounds like the guy that
Same
shaved.
times.
Remember that guy that shaved the beard of his like he tied him up, shaved
Made
the
him
beard
eat
of
it?
his neighbor for like he took his lawnmower. I can't remember what the made him eat it. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly right.
Took his lot. They were like Mennonite. They're the
Yeah, this
people
is
that
like
don't
Amish or
use-
something
Yeah.
there.
Took his lawn.
I can't remember verbatim like
Took
you
the
say,
goat, whatever.
but, I think I'm with Dan. In times like that's ridiculous. Why was there like there's only one story there that said there was chemical involvement. Like if this is just the basis of people's behavior with or without medication, that's bad.
Yeah.
Maybe Florida's going to get hit first.
Might just fall off.
That's where people clear out of Branson. They go to.
yeah.
They go straight from the off-season Branson.
Branson's the second to the
They
last
saw
stop.
this creepy dude in the parking lot of a hotel room with an old hotel that didn't open until February.
Here's a 12-pack. Here's a
they're thinking to
bicycle. Head to
themselves,
Florida.
Hey, man, that guy looks creepy. I bet he's not going to Florida anytime soon.
That ain't no doubt.
Well, that was it. Non-biblical signs of the apocalypse. That's not the end times.
No, I don't know.
I think we still got time.
I mean, it could be. A lot of people are saying that.
A lot of people say a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, here's the thing. Jesus says, don't worry. He doesn't say don't be prepared for it. He just says don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
don't worry about
And
it.
so that's Live from the Past official stance. We're not concerned with it. We respect it and would enjoy it if it showed up. But we are certainly not worried about it.
To live is Christ, to die is gain.
Yeah, whatever. Bring it on, Jesus. I think we're ready.
All right. Non-biblical signs of the apocalypse. All right, so Troy, let me ask this question. People knocking at the door. They say, John moving to third. We need some advice. We're coming to sit on your lawn until you provide us advice, Pope style. What would you say to 15,000 people waiting to hear something that you had to say, advice from for the week?
First off, good afternoon, 15,000 people in my front yard. I'm here for you. So, after the recent things have happened within the last couple weeks, I kind of started thinking about where I've stood in my walk when tragedy is hit, where I have been, in my relationship with Christ. And I realized that a lot of people, and me included at one point in time, I did not prepare myself spiritually. I didn't prepare myself to be ready for that kind of stuff. It talks about building your foundation and building the foundation. The builder who built it on sand, and when the storms came and the winds blew, the house was destroyed. And the man who built his house on solid foundation, when the storms came and the winds blew, his house stood strong. And I think that a lot of times in this day and age, people wait till the last minute to really start building their foundation. And we all know that's the wrong time. We wait until the signs of things are going to happen. Whether it may be a family member that's terminally ill, and you can see them fading away, to where then we really start thinking to ourselves, where am I in my walk with God? Where's my foundation at? What do I have to go off of when this obvious storm is coming? And then we have times where we don't even have a chance to have that. We have tragedy strike immediately, and we didn't prepare. We didn't spend the time we were supposed to creating our foundation, and we're immediately blown over. Our house is destroyed. We have nothing to stand upon. We are weak. And I think that's my Pope style advice this week. We need to make sure that we are preemptively building our foundation, we're not waiting till the storm hits to build our house. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've really been digging into the last weeks with previous deaths in my family. I didn't have a foundation, and I had the stilts on the sand, and it hit immediately, and my faith was shook. It was shaken terribly, and I fell because of it. And as I gained wisdom through God and through my reading and through strengthening my walk, it happened again, and I have a foundation to stand on. I have, Jesus is my rock and my foundation for me to stand on right now, and I'm not wavering at all. I am steadfast for my family, for my friends, for myself, more importantly, to make sure that I'm not going to shake and my faith isn't going anywhere. I know that my God is here with me, and I can stand upon him.
That's some solid advice.
Very solid. How would you tell someone to build on a foundation of rock? Someone who's going, I have no idea what you're talking about. That's
So,
great. Foundation.
Is there any way to know that you're in the sand until the storm hits?
No, absolutely not. And that's what I'm saying. You need to be prepared.
I think that's usually a pretty good sign of a weak foundation, is you assume you are a strong foundation.
Right.
And,
Like the whole situation of
Till the storm comes.
if you you're going to know. I mean, if you honestly are seeking a relationship with God and are seeking to know more about God, we have a book that tells us what our foundation should be based upon. And I think if you are actively searching for that, you're going to know that you have a shaky foundation, and all of us have a shaky foundation, but you know pretty well that you're in the straits. And I think, we have certain guidelines that we can follow, praying every day, reading our books, really getting involved in our relationship with God to where it's not a passing phase. It's not something that happens every 6 months, where we think about God. If we know that we are in a daily relationship with God, we are daily having a walk with God, we're talking with God, we're learning in the Word, we're spending time in the Word. I know that right now I don't have a solid foundation, but I'm a lot better off than I have been before, and that's because of the fact that I am spending more time in the Word, and I am spending more time with God.
sure, you build it one brick at a time.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing, right? When the storm shows up, even if your house isn't finished, at least you're not starting over.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're not trying to pick up the pieces and find anything salvageable. You're like, yeah, that did hit, but I got a house to build. So
Well, yeah, absolutely. That's the whole thing. We're always going to be building our foundation. There's always more pieces of it that we can put under us on our foundation. It's a walk where we are ever expanding our minds with God. We are ever, God showing us more and more as we learn and as we grow. He's sitting there. I can just imagine him sitting there. Oh, you think that's cool? Dude, just wait. Just wait. I got something even better for you that you can put under you. You're going to learn this, and it's going to be even better.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, and maybe that house metaphor's got some legs. I mean, there's not every beautiful house has a strong foundation. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you're not limited to the foundation, right? It's just a place to get started.
Right.
And when you get started, and then you let God start designing things and putting up rooms and painting some walls and putting some places for you to actually live, it starts to get really comfortable and not feel like work like it used to. Maybe there's times where you're having guests over to your place.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like you could feed others and you can let them see what a house looks like when it's done. And I mean, it's never finished. It's always a work in progress. But like you can let them see, for example, what God builds. This is what God does. And that's why it's so amazing to talk to a lot of people that have some excellent testimonies on where they came from. Right? Like not only did God get me out of this crappy house that I built, but He helped me build a new one.
Yep.
And like by anybody's standards, my house looks great. But if you know what house I came from, you'd be blown away. And so I think that's excellent advice. I think after you get you get to a certain foundation, and they get that thing set. Like I said, God will start building things, and then certain parts of the Bible will start to jump out at you. Like I've been, I don't know. There's something about the Book of James that just gives me a good whooping. And it's I think it's James 1:22 or 1:23 that says don't deceive yourselves and just read the word, do what it says. I thought. I think I get it. Like, we've finally gotten through our I've read the Bible for the first time over the last year, and we're heading right back through it again. We're about halfway through it again. And, I thought, okay, I got the swath. Let's do what it says, and that's hard. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. It's because you have to be constantly guarding it and constantly watching it, and that almost fits right back in with the house metaphor, right? Like the foundation's there. Don't kick a brick out.
Right.
Keep it where it is. Paul even says that you can't change the foundation that's been laid. So everybody, be careful on what you're building on top of that. And your own life is a perfect example of that. If you watch what you're building, you use the materials that God told you, and follow His design, you're going to end up with an awesome house at the end.
Absolutely. So there you go, 15,000 people on Milan.
No, get out.
No,
Step-
get on out.
Stop envying my house. That's
Get
a
out and
sin.
start building.
I know you see the house, you're thinking, man, that's a crazy
I
foundation.
bet I could have that. I bet I could take it. Where's my SUV? Help me, Batman.
Where's my Batman
To the
suit?
bad SUV. I'm taking it out.
You're listening to Live from the Path. We're broadcasting every Monday night here from livefromthepath.org from 10 to 11 Central Time. Also, you can catch us on 99.3 KTIA at 7 p.m. every Saturday. Same show. Not the same great back content, because we do what we want here on the internet show.
That's no doubt.
We're limited on what we can say on the KTIA. We're not allowed to talk about certain things. Armadillos, for example.
Something about armadillos rubs them wrong.
It's all politics, you know. You say one armadillo, you get sued. Anyway, hey, just real quick, I wanted to say quick thanks to our sponsors, by the way. If you want to, sometimes we get requests, people want to help out the show. Here's what you can do. Two things for me. One, if you would pray for the show, that would be awesome. Just pray that our show reflects God's will, that it brings glory to Him, not to us, and that hopefully our conversation is shows that we love Jesus and we have a lot of fun doing it. Second of all, if you want to visit our sponsors, we have Valley Services for all your residential and commercial cleaning needs. Capana's Coffee and Gelato in Ames, where Troy's tried the gelato, says it's delicious.
Yeah.
I like the Mex Mocha if you're going to buy a drink. Also, the Eisenhower team. Hey, man, buy a house from them fellas. They want to sell you a house. They want to sell your house. Go to the EisenhowerTeam.com, and for all your promotional items, we're talking T-shirts, caps. What we got? Troy was wearing the Life from the Path hat.
Ben, we gonna give some of those away?
Yeah, let's give one away. All right, can you hold on? Let me get you in on what Troy's got on here.
Been wearing this bad boy for days.
That's not
Ben.
that's not the Troy Cam.
Mike.
There we go. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. If you send me an email this week, send it to info@livefromthepath.org, and here's all you got to tell me is you got to say, hey, I watched the show. Tell me whether you listen to it on the internet, whether you get it on the podcast, or whether you listen to it on 99.3 KTIA, and say, I want the hat. Okay, and we'll get all the emails together. We'll put it in a drawing, and we'll draw one out, and we'll pick a winner, and we'll send you a free hat.
Yeah.
That hat makes Doof look like me look somewhat okay.
Now here's the deal. Here's how you should be comforted. Most of our listeners, don't take this the wrong way, listeners, they're lazy people. Okay, they're not going to get around to sending this email in. So take the initiative and just send it in.
You may be that one guy.
Your odds. I mean, you might be the only dude. You're guaranteed a hat. Just give it a whirl. You know what I'm saying?
Info@livefromthepath.org. You need to tell me where you hear the show, either on the podcast, on the live internet feed, or on 99.3 KTIA, and you got to say, I want the hat, and we'll put you in the drawing for that. And
if you do it in all caps, we're going to disqualify you. That's abrasive.
That's kind of yelling.
It's
Yeah,
outrageous.
yeah.
And I'm going to close the stuff on the 10th. Okay?
What's that, Sunday?
Yeah, 11:59 p.m. on the 10th, and
Okay.
I'm closing her down.
So
Central
we can
Standard
announce
Time.
it next week.
Yeah,
then.
we're going to do it next week on the show.
All right, fine.
All right, win the hat. All right, there you go. And anyway, Jared Roy from On Purpose Promotions made those hats for us. That's onpurposepromos.com. Anyway, please frequent our sponsors, even if you don't want to buy anything from them, although I encourage you to do so. Give them a call and say, hey, thanks for sponsoring Live from the Path.
Dear Live from the Path, I'm a 20-year-old college student with a great job, life ambitions, and parents who love me. They raised me to think for myself and follow my dreams. I didn't date much in high school, but a few months ago I met a wonderful young man who's in the Army. Two things about the relationship are different. First, we met on the internet, communicated online for several weeks, then took the next step to meet in person. The second is, Jack, in quotes, is 10 years older than I am and has a son from a previous marriage. Ooh. Jack is stationed not far from me. When I met him, I realized he was everything a woman could want. Apparently not the old woman. I digress. I did a background check and everything he told me is true. He supports me fully in pursuing my degree and my future career, but I'm afraid to introduce him to my parents because they're old-fashioned. They are leery about people meeting on the internet. They also want me to meet a guy closer to my age. The more Jack and I are together, the more I realize how much I love him. I want to introduce the man I love to my family. How do I proceed with this? I am scared that my parents won't accept Jack. How can I get them to accept my choice?
What was the age difference?
10
10
years.
years.
And how old was she?
I didn't say.
20?
And it's,
I mean, it's a big difference between it if it's
no,
like
no, it did say 20. Sorry.
20.
Yeah,
Okay.
20.
So he's 30.
He's 30. I feel like 30 is the new 20. I've just turned 30 myself. Feel like it's younger than you think. Booba?
Yeah. That's terrible advice, Booba.
So, okay, 10 years is not that big of a deal in some circumstances. Age itself is not the biggest factor. I mean, you can have a 20-year-old that acts like a 40-year-old, immaturity-wise, whatever, and you can have a 30-year-old that acts like a 5-year-old. That's completely understandable. So I don't think it's age alone. I understand where she's coming from, though, when she's talking about her parents being old-fashioned and not wanting to probably acknowledge that. However, here's the situation. So if you honestly love the guy, if you feel like this is the person you want to be with, regardless of how you met, if you've got a good relationship, I don't see a problem. Your parents may not accept it at first, but if they do love you like they say they do, they're going to accept or at least deal with the fact that you're with this person.
It changed my life.
Was there advice there?
Yeah.
What was it?
Deal with it, Mom and Dad.
That's, yeah. I feel like you
That
just
was it.
you retold the story. That's all.
I'm saying that you need to just come out and say it. She's talking about how she's scared to tell her parents because she doesn't know if they'll accept him. What I'm saying, though, is she's saying that they love her, all this different stuff. If they love her so much, they'll at least learn to deal with the guy that she's with. They may not like it at first, but if that's their child, they're going to deal with it. So just tell them.
Okay, Dan, let me ask you a question. Let's say that one of your daughters brings home some sleazeball that you don't really like, right? He's doing things that you're not, you don't like his lifestyle. There's nothing you like about him.
Right.
Tell me that they're going to come home and say, Dad, deal with this, and you're going to go, all right.
You're insinuating way too much, though. She never said anything about how her parents wouldn't like his lifestyle.
Of course, why would she bring that up? She wants the answer person to give her
okay, fine.
advice.
All we're getting from this, though, is the fact that she's worried about the age difference, and she's worried about the fact that they met on the internet. That's the only thing that she commented on, that they're old-fashioned.
Here's what I think. I think the guy is a sleaze pocket, and I think she doesn't want to admit that. So she's trying to find some kind of weird scattered ways so she can blame it on the weirdness of her parents.
Yeah, that would make her parents look like footy duddies.
Yeah, you know how them geezers are. We met on the intranet, and they don't like it.
Yeah, we should just get off and elope and not tell anybody till later.
Yeah, I think he's a scuzz bucket.
I think you guys are really jumping on a lot of stuff there.
Are you dating a woman 10 years your senior?
No, I'm not. I know
Not
people
yet, not
who
till her
are.
parents approve.
I think the healthiest thing to do here is for them to all just meet without making a big fanfare. She's not saying we're getting married next week.
Right.
She's just saying, hey, here's a guy. I'd like you to meet him. I would be very open to meeting anyone my daughter was dating and get to know the person. And then I could give her some helpful advice, not based on what I don't know, not based on simply here's a graph that tells you how long you'll be single because he's going to die 15 years before you do, something like that. I might have that conversation with her saying, hey, guys tend to go sooner. Just go into that with your eyes open so you understand you're basically agreeing to a long senior singlehood, maybe, but that's not what you base that on either. I'd look at his character. I'd look at what's going on in his life, and
I'd invite him on a men's hunting weekend.
yeah.
Yeah, that's going to work.
Mike,
And
do
then
you
I'd-
hunt?
Huh?
Do you even hunt?
No, but I would come up with a bunch of weird rituals that would freak him out and get him away from my place.
Here's our family
Yeah,
handshake.
Here's the thing. We do nude buffalo dancing. Be ready.
Yeah, Troy's right. Yeah, I just tell him. Just tell him.
Yeah.
They don't like people that meet over the internet. Give your parents a chance, I mean, at first blush, like if they had to choose, they just think it's suspicious is all, because it's not how they would have done it. But back in their day, so-and-so would have told so-and-so would have told so-and-so that they liked him on the playground. So, I mean,
Yeah. Instead of telling so-and-so, you just told a bunch of ones and zeros, and it told them for you.
yeah. Hey, you've been listening to Live from the Path. Thanks for hanging out with us both this week and every week at livefromthepath.org. Check us out during the week for additional clips from the show, as well as interviews, musical performances,
Bonus content.
and all kinds of hootenanny that goes on at that website during the week time. We will see you next week. Thank you for listening to Live from the Path. Unless you're on the internet. Listen to the podcast. And there's still just a little bit more. Okay, Mike, what do you got?
Okay, here's what Secular says.
Okay.
Secular says, your relationship with Jack appears to be progressing at warp speed.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't see anything in her letter that implied some kind of crazy speediness. If you want your parents to accept them, you must give them an opportunity to get to know them. And the same applies to you because this romance is fresh. As you communicate with your parents, start mentioning Jack. Ooh, that's sly. Tell them he is a member of the military and how you met. Meeting someone on the internet these days is very common and nothing to be ashamed of. The longer you continue keeping his existence secret, the more concerned and disappointed your parents will be when you spring it on them. They will want to meet him, and you should introduce them. After that, the selling job will be his. Keep your cool. You are a parent's little girl and always will be, but the decision of who you'll wind up with is your own to make, not theirs.
All right.
That's too bad. It really shouldn't be. Here's what I found out. Young people can't be trusted. I was listening to this guy talk the other day about they still do, even in Christian parts of India, they still do arranged marriages, right?
Yep.
And they were talking to the guy, and he said, so why, you guys do arranged marriages? And he goes, here's the difference between what we do here and what you guys do in the United States. You love the one that you marry, or you marry the one that you love. We love the one that we marry. And I thought, well, that's an odd way to say it. And he goes, I go and find a wife for my son. Do you know why? Because my son's never been married. He has no idea what he needs, just like I didn't know what I need when I got married. And he goes, he doesn't know. He has no idea what it's like to be married or what goes on in that relationship because it's never happened to him. I, as his father, know the most I can about him. I love him more than anyone else on this world, and I can help make that a good decision for him. Now the kid still has to accept it. Like he doesn't. You're not. It's like not a binding contract, but like the mom and the dad bring the gals and say this one is suitable if you choose. Like you're not forced to contractually marry them, but like. Here's an option for you, and you can take it or leave it.
That seems pretty handy, doesn't it?
Yeah, like
I just kind of hanging out at your place, and people are bringing ladies by, and it's like this one will work.
Now, that the thing. It sounds great in if you have a father that's A, not a total square, and B, one that loves Jesus and loves you. But as soon as you get any type of a non-trusting relationship, then that whole thing's out the window. That's why arranged marriages went out the door to begin with, because mom and dads were picking things that would financially benefit them. You know what I'm saying? Like they took their job as a parent lightly and they screwed the kid.
Right.
And they're like, well, forget it, I'm out. I wouldn't trust my mom and dad to pick my wife for nothing.
No, the dowry for the one with the big nose and the giant mole is twice as much because the father's trying to get rid of her.
Of course, they're also thinking longer term than I can make a few bucks off of this, get a couple extra cows and goats. I mean, they're looking at this is our heritage. I think they put more thought into it. They didn't put that much thought into it. Who was it? Was it Isaac? Who said, "Hey, Dad, go get me a wife. Whoever draws water first out of the well." I mean, they just need some.
Now hold on. Now you're blending two things of the story together.
Yeah.
Abraham was getting a wife for Isaac, said, I don't want you picking people from Egypt because they were living in Egypt at the time. He says, go back to my homeland and find it. Right. It was the servant's idea. He prayed to God and said, I want to make sure that this is your will, so the first person that's here that offers to go to water my camels as well, then that's the person that I want.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that shows intentionality on Abraham's part to say, I want this type of folk, and prayerful guidance on the servant's heart to say, who will help me?
Yeah.
What was Samson, though? His like, go find me somebody.
Okay, that sounds like Samson though. Like that's his
Samson
character.
It does sound like Samson.
That's how it behaves.
They might have killed people all day.
This is before
Give me
Delilah.
some thirst, Lord. Man, what a jerk! Seriously. Okay, one more. Here we go. Dear Life from the Path, a great man once said, "A life without love is no life at all." So many people find love in so many ways, either through arranged marriages, or at social events. Not as likely.
My dad chose a wife, or I went to a ball game. One or the other.
School or college. I've always been a hopeless romantic, but since the end of my 8-year relationship, my heart no longer feels the same. I feel as though love will never find me. I know people say when it happens, you will know, but my question is, how do you really know? And when that time does ever come, how do you prepare your heart for love after a tragic loss?
Can I just completely take myself out of this one? Because I have absolutely no idea.
Sing the song, crooner. Come on, move. Pour your heart out on the stage.
I will never be able. I have no clue. I really don't.
How do you know?
I'm a complete and total idiot when it comes to this stuff. I'm a self-proclaimed idiot when it comes to relationships.
You put on the 80s tunes and you go, is this love that I'm feeling? Is this the love? Who is it?
White snake.
I am not basing my relationship and possible future marriage off of a White Snake
Hey,
song.
that guy has had like 800 ladies. He knows
That's
love.
not exactly. That's not what I'm looking for.
He's like taking wisdom from Sullivan.
That's exactly.
He knows love.
He knows love.
Here's what I can tell you.
The question is about him
it's all
not
made for-
knowing if it's love or not. First off,
Here's what I say. I don't know how to handle questions where they say, "How do you prepare your heart for love after some kind of whatever?" Like, I honestly don't know how to answer that question because like I've only dated one woman and I married her, and so I don't even have any experience on having broken up with a lady.
Yeah, me neither.
And met anybody else. So
Dan,
Dan, you're it.
You're the only one with anything to say here.
Oh, okay, here's the deal. The funny thing about this is I have no idea. I wasn't even listening. You said something and I drifted off, and then you ended it. I thought,
this is love.
yeah. I was trying to fake it here.
He comes back.
I
on the White
honestly
Snake.
wasn't listening. I drifted. Okay.
Okay,
This is legitimate.
okay, we're gonna get secular's advice.
Because I bet you I have
Yeah.
some good advice.
I bet so, Dan.
I think secular might have to take this one.
Wait, hold on a second. You can't leave it to the world. You can't say people got legitimate problems. There's no biblical direction.
Give me the
here.
gist again, because I won't drift this time.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna read it once too. Here we go. We'll skip the great man. I've always been a hopeless romantic, but since the end of my 8-year relationship, my heart no longer feels the same. I feel as though love will never find me. I know people say when it happens you will know, but my question is, how do you really know? And when that time does ever come, how do you prepare your heart for love after a tragic loss?
Okay. It doesn't say she's married though, or he. It doesn't even say he or she.
She was.
She's married.
Oh, it says 8-year relationship. Doesn't say marriage.
Because here's the deal. She does not understand what love is. She's basing it off an emotion, off of a feeling, and it has nothing to do with it. Love is a commitment.
I want to know what love is.
It's a commitment, okay? It has nothing to do with emotion. And she's basing that's where so many marriages
All
go
I can
wrong.
do is think in tunes of what you're saying, Dan.
So many relationships go wrong.
This is the greatest reaction that could have possibly happened, and I'm so excited that
So
that
wait,
is happening.
it's a misunderstanding of what it is in general.
Exactly. She's looking for warm fuzzies, and warm fuzzies with anybody only last so long. And when those wear out, if that's all you've got, your relationship's over.
Yeah, it's like a pair of footy pajamas. You know what I'm saying? You get them, they're warm, they feel great. 10 years from now, when your belly's popping out the zipper, it ain't the greatest. You shouldn't have put your stock in footy pajamas.
Isn't there some song about love being a drug or something? It's like a drug. You take the drug, and when the high is over, it's done. The same thing with a relationship. When the high is over, it's done.
Yeah, here's the deal. This is going to be Dan Hudson style advice.
Bad foundation, by the way.
Yeah, but get yourself a foundation in the Bible. Find out what Jesus got for you. Turn your sin over to Christ and let him say, look, what do you want me to do with my life?
Yeah,
you want to
that's a
send
good
me
answer.
somebody great? I'm ready. You don't want to send me anybody? I don't care. To die's gain. I'm ready for love. Tighten up on your job, homie. I'm out.
What's the way to bring it all around?
Yeah.
bud?
Wait, what was the secular advice?
Secular says, John Buva, you never will have love. It's time to give up.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Amen.
Amen.
It was weird.
It was very specific to me.
Yeah, it's odd that she's been so uptight. Says, I'm sorry for your loss and heartache, but unless your lover was wrenched from you by death, you should do what people of both sexes must do when romance ends. Ask yourself why and what you have learned from it. The failure of a romance doesn't mean that love will never happen again. You will know you have found love when you meet someone who makes you feel strong instead of dependent, who appreciates you for the person you are and isn't threatened by your successes, who supports you when you're down, takes pride in your accomplishments, and will hug you even after a difficult day. And it shouldn't take preparation, just a willingness to risk putting yourself out there and a little good luck.
I think that was excellent advice.
I wanna know what love is. I want you to show me. I wanna feel what love is.
This is the internet bonus content. You've been listening to Live from the Path on livefromthepath.org. Don't forget the KTIA broadcast has moved to 7 o'clock on Saturdays.
Woo!
That's downtown.
Prime time.
Email me for a free hat, all right? info@livefromthepath.org. I listen to the podcast. I want a free hat. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening to Live from the Path.